Touch everything. My talent can be upgraded. Touch everything. My talent can upgrade. Chapter 9. But now, he sees hope. If he obtained the forbidden technique of enlightenment, he could completely cultivate those 5 C-grade alien arts to a complete realm. In the C-level alien art of the perfection realm, he was willing to guarantee that none of the entire first middle school students would be able to do it. In this morning's class, he did not listen carefully. As soon as school was over, he was ready to plan enlightenment. Go directly to the Evil God Society? That would definitely not work. He would not dare to contact such an organization. Li Yang must have a Tao enlightenment technique in his hands, but he must be monitored now, and if I rashly contact him, I will also be targeted. Therefore, it would definitely not work to find Li Yang to buy enlightenment techniques. At this time, he thought of a place. Underground Mall number 2. He remembered that there was a shop in the number 2 Underground Mall that sold everything and could get everything, only cash transactions, no registration was required. And a lot of black goods flowed out of there. The point is that this store has a deep background, which has been no problem. So, Yi Tian came to the number 2 Underground Mall and came to this shop called Old Black Grocery Store. What do you want to buy, this guest? The owner of the Old Black Grocery Store was a middle-aged man with sharp beaks and cheeks, and when he saw Yi Tian come in, he immediately asked. Yi Tian wore a black hat, black sunglasses, a mask on his mouth, and his clothes were also very popular, the kind he rarely wore. He dressed up like this. Naturally, he didn't want to expose his identity. Boss, can you buy anything here? Yi Tian asked. When Lao Hei heard Yi Tian's words, he squinted his eyes slightly, as if he expected that what Yi Tian wanted to buy was not a serious item. He doesn't care, though. As long as he gives money, he can get anything. As long as it's not too rare, I can get it. Lao Hei assured. Yi Tian saw that there was no one else in the shop, so he pulled his throat and said in a slightly rough voice, "Can you get the Tao enlightenment technique here? Enlightenment?" Lao Hei was a little surprised. This is a forbidden technique. There are even guests who want to buy this forbidden art. Yes. Do you know the flaws of enlightenment? Old Hei, I don't want to pit people. This enlightenment technique, I do have a way to get it, but the defect must be said in advance, so that you don't trouble me in the future. Enlightenment can temporarily improve enlightenment, but it will consume the potential of innate abilities, even if you are a genius, after practicing enlightenment. You will become a mediocre talent. Lao Hei introduced. I know. Yi Tian nodded slightly. My parents' cultivation has reached some kind of shackles, and there is no way to break through. And I want to rely on the Tao enlightenment technique to fight. Quote. So it is. Old Hei looked surprised, but in fact he didn't fully believe Yi Tian's words. Anyway, the flaws have already been said. As for what the consequences are, he does not care. The Tao enlightenment technique is a forbidden technique, and the Chia Kingdom official is severely cracked down, and I also have to take a certain risk. So, if you want to buy enlightenment, you have to spend a lot of money. Lao Hei showed a profiteer smile and said. How much? Yi Tian asked. 1 million. Lao Hei stretched out a finger and said his price. Too expensive, right? Yi Tian frowned. The Evil God Society sells this kind of enlightenment technique at a very low price. How come it comes to you? It costs 1 million. The old black hand said. No way, I have to take risks. Besides, if you dare to contact the evil gods, that's a bunch of madmen. Moreover, if you buy from me, you don't have to worry about exposure, and I will also treat you when you haven't been here. Yi Tian pondered for a while, but still decided to buy. When will you be able to get the enlightenment technique? Yi Tian asked. Lao Hei smiled and said, you have to pay the deposit first, otherwise I get the enlightenment technique, and if you don't buy it, who will I sell it to? Quote. I'll go get the money and come back in an hour. Yi Tian was gone. He then went to a bank and withdrew $1 million in cash. In this world, withdrawing money is not so troublesome. Even if you withdraw 10 million, it is easy to take it out. Then, he went to the old black grocery store and paid a deposit of 300,000 yuan. Just as Yi Tian was about to leave, Lao Hei stopped him, and then took out a black leather secret book from the cabinet. Guest, you are very lucky. It just so happens that someone has sold this enlightenment technique, and you can trade it now. Yi Tian looked at this secret code, and seriously suspected that there was still a bunch of secret codes in Lao Hei's cabinet. Take a risk, take a fart, this guy is obviously punting him. However, he could only honestly pay the remaining 700,000 in cash and take away this enlightenment secret code. Anyway, the enlightenment technique is in hand. Chapter 9, the magic has been fulfilled. At home, Yi Tian carefully browsed this enlightenment technique, which was recorded in the form of a secret book, but there was not much content. Soon, he had read all the contents of the enlightenment technique. However, he did not fully understand. This is also normal. If you read it once and understand it, it would be strange. His understanding has not reached this level. Therefore, for the next 2 days, he was studying the art of enlightenment, and finally he had a preliminary understanding, at least he could try to cultivate. At this time, Yi Tian was a little nervous. After all, this is a forbidden technique. The essence of enlightenment lies in the indescribable and strange tree recorded in the secret book. Visualize it, and then according to the cultivation content of enlightenment. Absorb the power of innate energy to water the soul, so that the understanding skyrockets in a short time. Rumble. As soon as Yi Tian realized this indescribable and strange tree, his soul seemed to have a hunger and thirst, wanting to devour something. At this time, he sensed the power of the 5 innate abilities, and he could devour them at any time. Let's devour the power of the soil system talent first. I haven't started to cultivate the sea-level soil system power now, and the soil system talent has reduced its potential. And it will not affect my cultivation. Immediately, he began to devour the origin of the Earth system's innate talent. Rumble. A wisp of the Earth-based innate energy origin was absorbed by Tian, and after the transformation of the indescribable strange tree, a special energy was formed and poured into his soul. In an instant, Tian seemed to fall into an epiphany. Hurry up and practice spa techniques. Tian's spa technique is an entry realm, but at this moment, his understanding has skyrocketed, and it feels too easy to practice spa art again. A large number of spiritual lights appear. Countless inspirations emerge, as if a college student is doing math test problems for elementary school students. The spa technique progressed rapidly, and he gradually immersed himself in it, until the cultivation of the hydrotherapy technique consumed the water system alien energy. And then he turned to cultivating the sea-level alien woodvine technique. After a while, his wood system was also exhausted. After that, he began to cultivate the E-grade alien golden needle technique, which was even easier. It didn't take long for the golden needle technique to cultivate to the point where it could not be improved again. At this time, he thought of the C-grade golden system alien sword shadow technique. During the whole process, he was in an extremely excited state. After all, the progress of the alien art was too fast, and he was completely addicted. Suddenly, when he discovered that the origin of the soil system talent was about to collapse, he found that he had absorbed too much soil system talent energy. So, he immediately stopped. Data panel. Host. Tian. Realm. Advanced Alien Apprentice. Talent. Water C. 1/100th. Fire C. 1/100th. Wood C. 72/100ths. Gold C. 1/100th. Earth F. 12/100ths. Abnormal techniques. F-grade sprinkling, Dacheng, E-grade waterhood, Siocheng, E-level golden needle technique, completion, C-grade spa technique, Dacheng, C-grade woodvine technique, Dacheng, sword shadow technique. Siocheng, spa technique, woodvine technique. These two C-level different techniques are directly cultivated from the beginning to the Dacheng realm. And the last cultivation of the sword and shadow art Siocheng, the golden needle technique, is directly completed. Tian was shocked. This progress rate is too great, and it also makes his strength soar too much. Moreover, if it weren't for the exhaustion of his water system and wood system abilities. Otherwise he would definitely be able to cultivate it to a complete realm if he specialized in cultivating spa techniques and woodvine techniques. Of course, the price he paid was also huge. The soil talent was reduced from C to F level, and other talents were directly equivalent to changing from a small genius to a waste material. This forbidden technique is really a pit. It exhausts the potential of a gifted power, although it can greatly improve the realm of alien art, but it is not cost effective. Tian said darkly. However, he can enhance his innate potential, and this forbidden technique is simply supreme for him. Then, he took out a little spirit soil, which was left over after the last use. Spirit Earth didn't help C-grade soil system talent ability, he was useless, but now that he has become F-grade soil system talent ability again, spirit soil is greatly useful. When Tian touched the spiritual soil, power of Earth +1, power of Earth +1, power of Earth +1. First chapter previous